premature baby is born every minute. Without the use of isolettes, previously known as incubators, those babies would have little to no chance of surviving past the first few hours of life. Before 1835, babies were born at home. There would be a woman in labor and another woman to assist. Things were natural, with no pain medicine, the way they were meant to be. However, there were a lot of babies that were dying. Then the first isolette came along, the Warm Wand, by a man named Von Rule. He saw that something was needed to save all these babies who were dying. From him came a long line of improved isolettes that were providing different functions. In 1880, Tarnier introduced the couvreuse. It was a box-like structure where the baby would be placed in the upper half on a cushion. On the lower portion, there was an oil flame on the outside. The heat would travel through tubes leading to water that sat under the baby compartment. The heat would then cause the water to boil, heating the baby. In 1896, Dr. Cooney wanted to get isolettes integrated into hospitals, but no hospital knew anything about them. He started an incubator baby exhibit at the Berliner Gewehrbosteln. This was the beginning of the isolettes' journey into hospitals. Between 1897 and the 1900s, Cooney did 4 main incubator baby sideshows at the Victoria-era Exhibition, the Trans-Mississippi Exposition, the World Exhibition, and the Pan-American Exposition. In 1903, Dr. Coney opened his biggest sideshow in Coney Island. His sideshows opened the minds of doctors and nurses, making it possible that in 1899, the first incubator station was set up at the Chicago Lying-In Hospital. Also, in 1914, an incubator unit was made in the Michael Reese Hospital. Since then, isolettes have developed in technology and ability, and are now an essential asset to every hospital with a delivery ward, and with that they have saved millions of lives. The use of isolettes isn't limited to premature babies. They are used for a wide variety of cases such as jaundice, added oxygen, monitoring of heart rate, and blood pressure. The function and abilities of isolettes have improved through the years as technology excels, but they still fail to improve on one problem: bonding.
Got to hold Millie for like the first 2-3 hours after she was born until we figured out that her oxygen levels were so low, and that was why she was turning purple. Before they took her and put her in the incubator at Holy Family. And then when we got to Sacred Heart, Millie's cardiologist and the Sacred Heart peds doctor, or the NICU peds doctor, were in a huge argument over whether I was going to get to breastfeed her or not. The cardiologist won, and because of that, we could go in, sit, hold her, bond with her. I could nurse her. But if the cardiologist had not stepped up and advocated for us, then we would not have gotten to do any kangaroo care. Because she was hooked up to so much, it was an ordeal to take everything off. And over time, we got really good at it. But, to unhook everything. And then they'd only let it go for like 45 minutes at a time. But yeah, we sat there a couple days and we did kangaroo care.
Isolettes provide an environment of regulation. They regulate heat, oxygen, nutrition, the passing of germs, and the ability to bond mother and child. The bond between a mother and child is sacred and vital to the growth of the baby. Isolettes keep the child from being held by mom and from being fed by mom. Kangaroo care is the natural way to bond mother and child. It provides the baby the ability to activate the entire brain, to synchronize their breathing and heart rate with mother or father, and to be heated or cooled.
But they do encourage dads to take their turn in kangaroo care because the babies still respond to their voice, their low voice, to their heart rate, and they chemically respond in their brain to that person because that person has been familiar to them in utero. Moms and babies, their heartbeats will synchronize. So if you have a baby and they have kind of an erratic heartbeat and they won't calm down, you put the baby on the mom and the baby can hear the mom and synchronize. They'll synchronize oftentimes their breathing and their heart rate. It'll just synchronize. For the mom and the baby, when they were separate from each other, certain parts of their brains weren't working. When they got to be with each other, parts of their brain began working. So different brain activity in the baby was taking place. So they could translate that to the more hours you hold your baby, the more brain development you end up having. You want to breastfeed, and that also helps her release that love hormone, and so she's falling in love with who she's breastfeeding. And she's willing and wanting to take care of that person. If we have them over here in a warmer and being bottle fed, we don't have that bonding.
The technology and abilities that hospitals have is vital to the survival of many babies. If a baby is premature, can't regulate their heat, is not getting enough oxygen or nutrients, isolates are key to survival. And although the survival is top priority, it's very hard for moms to have limited contact with their child.
Oh, it was horrible. It's horrible. It's like a huge Band-Aid being ripped off your... You know, they always say it hurts. Just rip it off. It'll hurt a lot. It'll hurt a lot less. It was horrible. And then you have to walk away and leave them there, and you have to go home because you have other kids that need you, and you have to get rest again so you can come back the next day, and it's gut-wrenching.
Looking ahead, isolates will continue to develop. They will change as the needs arise and as technology advances. We predict that they will become lighter and more portable, have smaller footprints, more options, humidifiers, equipment, and accessories. Isolates will become even more beneficial than they are today, but we fear they will never be able to satisfy one major problem: the lack of bonding between mom and baby while the baby is in the isolate.